Recently, there's been a Bitcoin purist that's jumped on board the XRP army. Well, he didn't exactly use that phrase, but XRP holders on the internet, they're kind of known for using that phrase. Well, he recently came out, he made a bunch of videos explaining why he is now on board with XRP and why he believes that in the coming months that XRP is going to be one of the biggest gainers in all of crypto. We're going to take a quick look at what changed his mind. Also, CoinShares, which is a digital investment funds company, they recently published a chart that showed a really interesting signal that basically signals essentially the bottom or a turning, and that the crypto bull run is about ready to commence. And not only that, a completely separate Bitcoin chart that actually showed another signal that also showed pretty much the exact same thing. Tell you what they are and what that could mean for the rest of this year in crypto. Also in XRP, if you've been following my videos for a while, you know that I like to follow the narrative. Follow the storylines. Where is it going? Well, recently XRP made a big investment in an NFT platform. I'm going to talk about what the narrative and what the headlines for that actually are, why they're shaping up to be that way, why they could actually taking a big market share from Ethereum. Plus, I have a little bit of a challenge for Mr. Elon Musk. So stick around to the end of this video and you're going to find out what that is. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And on this channel, I am covering the SEC versus Ripple case, as well as other cryptocurrency news and investment markets, personal finance. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. And as always, I would really appreciate it if you're feeling generous. Just click that thumbs up button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. It tells YouTube to share this video with other audiences. All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. So first here, I actually want to talk about the potential of a turning point of essentially the continuation or the reconvening of a bull run for this crypto market, and specifically in Bitcoin. So CoinShares, which is a company, it's a digital asset investment fund, and it basically tracks all kinds of stuff. They recently published a chart that had a signal on it that at least they're thinking that institutional buyers are showing a lot of renewed interest in crypto assets, specifically this week compared to the weeks before it. So they put out a chart, basically showed that this past week, there were actually, the digital asset space, the crypto market actually showed a positive inflow of revenue for the first time in the last 6 weeks, meaning the 5 weeks before it, it was still negative outflows. Well, it's now flipped. It's a very small flip, but it still has indeed flipped. What they're saying is that their institutional buyers are now reinvigorated and looking at this crypto market once again. Not just Bitcoin and not just some of the NFTs, but basically the market as a whole. This is backed up by Grayscale also adding Cardano to their holdings in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Cardano is now the third biggest holding in that trust. Grayscale obviously knows what they're talking about, or they at least know that it's going to go up in value whether or not they believe in the project or not. But I, for one, think that a company like that, as big as they are, they would not make a decision like that on something like Cardano unless they fully believed in it. Okay, so what else do we have? Well, there was a chart that was, there was a Bitcoin chart on Glassnode that somebody published that showed something really interesting. It was a signal that showed that the stablecoin supply ratio had actually dipped down below the lower level Bollinger Bands, which Bollinger Bands is basically just, it's one of those technical trading chart tools that are used to predict possible future highs and lows. The stablecoin supply ratio only dipped below those levels 3 other times in the past 2 years, and it just did it again this week. Well, what did it do the other 3 times? Well, all the other 3 times, it basically signaled a massive uptrend. And I don't mean like Bitcoin was already going up and it just, in the stablecoin supply ratio, hit that magical number and it continued to, no. Every time it hit that number, there was basically a reversal of the Bitcoin price that jumped upward. You can look at that chart. So if you follow Twitter, you can look at that chart, or just go to Glassnode and find that chart there. It's a stablecoin supply ratio. And something else that I've been reading up on recently regarding stablecoins is that banks are starting to get scared to death, because more recently there has been more cash or more dollars recently exiting banks and being transferred into stable coins at a faster pace than ever before. And this is scaring banks a lot. Now, there's a lot of people that follow narratives like I do, that follow storylines, and you'll see that a lot of times there are people, there are organizations, there are media outlets that just want to dump all kinds of fear and negativity onto the crypto space, And a lot of times it's because they are backed up by major banks and bank sponsors. So guess who they want to keep happy? The banks. Well, banks are really, really scared at this point and seeing all of the money flow out of their control into the crypto market. So there's a couple of trends starting to shape up. Follow the narrative. There's a couple of trends starting to shape up that's going to show that the continuation of this bull run is going to happen, and in my opinion, will happen actually into January and February of next year. Simply the fact that this market cycle has just been stretched out and elongated compared to the other two. Speaking of narratives, let's take a look at XRP. Now, yesterday I put out a video, I mentioned in my video, that Ripple had actually invested millions of dollars into Mintable, which is an NFT marketplace where you can buy and sell NFTs. Well, originally this was built on the Ethereum platform, so why did Ripple actually invest in it? Well, I just saw a headline today that perfectly fits the narrative. And that narrative is, Ripple invests in NFT platform to provide carbon neutral NFT options for its users. Carbon neutral, did you hear that? Carbon neutral. Using the XRP ledger, these NFTs and the XRP ledger, of course, can claim to be carbon neutral because, of course, that's what XRP is. Ethereum can't claim that. Ethereum is mineable. Now, Mintable had said that the reason that they allowed several of these other blockchain companies, and Ripple included, to invest in this is because they wanted to give their users options. Well, right off the bat, you know why they have chose Ripple to partner with. Follow this narrative. Carbon neutral. This is one of the biggest reasons why why a lot of people are incredibly bullish on XRP, XDC, and a couple of others, including all the ones that are included in the ISO 20022 cross-border payments platform that is coming out the end of next year. Follow that narrative. And speaking of carbon neutral, I have a little bit of a challenge for Mr. Elon Musk. Not that I'll ever see this, but if he does. Earlier in the year, Elon Musk started accepting Bitcoin as payment for Teslas. Then he later retracted that and saying he's no longer accepting Bitcoin for payment for Teslas because Bitcoin uses too much energy and he's not going to accept it as payment until Bitcoin uses more than 50% of renewable energy resources for its mining. Well, recently there's been a report that came out that said that number's actually at about 56%. Some people have tried to come out and basically say that's kind of nonsense. There was only about 30% of the miners actually reported this, etc., etc. You get the point. But my challenge to Elon Musk would be, he's literally mass creating millions, actually I believe at this point about 1.2 million Teslas now, basically 1.2 million electricity sucking machines. And my challenge would be, well, if Elon Musk isn't going to accept Bitcoin for payment until Bitcoin's 50% sustainably mined, is he going to stop selling Teslas until Tesla owners, or until more than 50% of Tesla owners are only going to charge their Teslas by using sustainable options? I highly doubt that's going to happen, but doesn't that sound reasonable to you? Because if he's not doing that, there has to be other reasons why he is not accepting Bitcoin for Teslas anymore. Well, except for in El Salvador, where Bitcoin is now legal tender. Wonder if you can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin in El Salvador. It is a really, really interesting narrative, but be sure to follow this. And finally, there's a Bitcoin purist. His name is Ben. He is Bitcoin Crypto on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen his videos. He's one of the biggest crypto influencers, one of the biggest crypto channels in YouTube. And for a while, he was not a fan of XRP. More of a Bitcoin purist, but more recently he's been putting his money into other projects, and then more recently he switched to actually joining and pumping XRP. Now that's really, really interesting. So why did he turn into a fan of XRP? Because before he said he didn't really agree with the fundamentals, there were always legal problems, until he actually looked at the legal problems, actually has the upper hand, the advantage in this case. They've been winning everything so far, but now he says he has sources. His sources are telling him things, that huge money are now going to be backing XRP and the projects that the XRP ledger support. And of course, he won't tell us what those sources are. I have sources too. It's called the internet. But in any case, he is now talking about XRP, and it's really, really interesting because whether you love him or hate him or agree with him or don't agree with him, or whatever that is, you have to admit, if you are an XRP holder and you're not too keen on Bitcoin maxis, that it's really interesting that one of the biggest ones out there actually flipped and became a fan of XRP. I mean, outside of somebody like Michael Saylor or Max Kaiser actually flipping, which I don't foresee that ever happening, this is actually big news. But let me know in the comments section below if you follow any of his stuff and if you think he has ulterior motives about why he's actually now talking about XRP and why he believes in it, or if you think that he just came around because he saw that he was wrong and that XRP does have a very bright future. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.